Skill to Riches Ebook Mastery class. Now, to be honest with you, everything I'm going to be teaching you is really how to use your skill to make money for yourself. Now, one of the ways I've used to make money, one of the ways I've used to cash out for myself is by writing ebooks. Now, I'm going to tell you guys about my ebook story and all that, but trust me, if you know how to write ebooks, you can make chunk of money on the internet. Let's go. Now, the area of focus we're going to be focusing on in this class is number one. We're going to be knowing what ebook is, the important questions about ebook creation, how to write an ebook, the tools we need for writing ebook, and other tips you just need to know. So this is going to be a practical section, but first I want you to understand the concept of ebook. Now, this is my story. Now, in 2020, during the COVID, I was very broke, and the only thing that I felt like I could do was to just write content on Facebook and all. So I realized that I stumbled upon a free class that teaches people how to write ebooks and make money out of it. The person that was teaching it was Esther Nemeruwe Odafe. So I also learned from another person called Ediri Edenwo. I bought her book called The Business of Writing Books. I think these two things formed my mind, and that was where I got everything I knew about writing book. Now, those courses and those free trainings were just talking about the prospects at which you're going to write a book and you can make at least starter money on the internet. You see, ebook money was my starter money on the internet. It will not probably make you the millions, but trust me, it can give you six figure in no time if you're serious about it. Now, one of the things you need to know is that there must be a reason to write a book. Now, this is my first book called Mindset Boost. The reason I wrote this book was because, number one, I had the knowledge I wanted to share. I was passionate about sharing it, and eventually I wanted to just make money. So aside from the money, there must be a passion to actually drive your goals. Creating ebooks is in three phases. Number one, the passion. Number two, you need to embody that passion. Number three, you need to create it. Now, it is that creating, then when you now create it, then another strata comes in. You need to know how to launch it and actually sell it. So it's a compendium of many things that we are going to be teaching in this particular class. So what is ebook? Now, ebook is a short form for electronic book. Now, it is a digitally printed book let's just say ebook is just like a digitally printed book. Is a digital book. They can't download it. You can't see it, you can't touch it, but you can read it, you can access it with your phone. And there's a growing rate at which all this mobile device computer is coming to take over. Now, it may not take over physical books and all that, but trust me, it is more accessible than physical book, because you can be in your house and just write a very good ebook right now and publish it yourself and all. So that is why ebook is very, very important. Presently, research shows that an average of 65% of people prefer reading hard copy. Sorry about that. Prefer reading hard copy books, and 21% prefer reading ebook. Now, this, however, is not to discourage anyone who wants to publish electronic books. It only shows that ebooks is relatively new, and its acceptance is gradually increasing. Important questions to ask is, why are you really writing your book? Is it for just the honor or your authority that comes with it, or it comes with or you just want to make money from it? You also need to ask, who are you targeting your book to? Who are you writing for? Is it for children, adults, teens, women, nursing mothers, men? What kind of people are you targeting to? So, very, very important. Another thing you need to ask is, what problem do you want to solve? Now, when I was writing Mindset Boost, the problem I wanted to solve was, I wanted to solve the issue of the mind problem. If you've read that book, Mindset Boost, I used to give it out for free. Although it's valued at 5K. So if you've not read it, you need to read that book so that you can know my state of mind when I was writing that book. That book can probably change your life, because I wrote it in depth from A to Z from my experiences. So you need to find out the problem you want to solve. My own problem I wanted to solve was the problem of the mind. I was if I was the most person with the most shallow mind ever, I didn't believe that I could achieve what I've achieved in the past, because one of the things that triggered me to write that book was I passed through different pains in school when I was trying to get my degree. So that motivated me to just pick up my phone and start writing. Yes, money was a factor, but I had no clue on how to make money. But eventually, when you have a product, when you have value, people would always come and pay you. Now, there are two types of book, fiction and non-fiction. Now, how do you write a book? I think this is the most important part, and this is the practical section. The first thing you need to do your research on the subject matter. Now, there's a lot of, maybe you want to write about relationship. You can't just come and start writing about relationship from your head, even though your head, you have the intelligence. But first, you need to do your own research. When I was writing mindset books, I was watching videos like download videos. I was watching videos like different videos on YouTube, and those things formed my mentality to be able to craft. You may think those are just my experiences. Yes, they are my experiences, but you need, one of the things I used to say, I used to call ebook. You don't write it, you craft it, because it's a compendium of different thoughts. Writing from your own point of view alone may not really be so accurate, even though you're trying to be genuine, but research is still very important. The second thing you need to do is to gather your thoughts and ideas. You need to gather them in a sheet. What are you trying to achieve in this chapter? Then the next thing you need to do is to map out your book. Specifically, if you're especially a fiction book, like if you're really writing a fiction book, fiction is maybe a book that is not real, like the stories are not real. You map up the characters, the actions, the settings, the dialogue, and all. You know, you're by the spirit of, like, you're going to get in your spirit mind, you're going to find out how to really, if you're really passionate about crafting your book, you'll find out your craft, your characters and all. You'll find out how to put them together, and you can also use templates. Some books are already, one of the ways to write a good book is to find out a book that has been written before and imitate. Another thing you need to do is to work on your chapters and build the structure. So build the structure. If you're writing on health, you can write, and you want to write how to live a healthy life. That is your book. You can say number 1, introduction to health, my health journey. Then you can now have subtitles. You can have subtitles in your book. That is to make your book easy to read. You see, these days a lot of people just throw a lot of wordings in a book and expect people to read. That is not how we work. If you do make your book boring, nobody will read it. You can even mix in pictures with your book, your writings. It will make it more captivating. I'm sure that the next books I'm going to be writing, they are not just going to be plain. They are going to be mixed with pictures and all. The next thing you need to do is write down all your ideas. Do not disregard any idea, and you need to ensure you do not edit first. So once you've gathered your thoughts, you've gathered your research, you need to start penning down. When you pen down, don't start editing your book as you write. It will slow you down. Now, the sixth thing you need to do, no matter the volume of your book, ensure it solves a problem. It could be moral problem, societal problem, political problem, educational problem. Just find out ensure that it solves a particular problem. Number 7, you need to work with a deadline. Without deadline, you may not really write a good book. Proper period planning prevents poor performance. So ensure you have a deadline, because when you don't have a deadline, you'll be slow in writing. Another thing you need to know is there are tools for writing ebooks. Number 1, there's an app called Grammarly. It's used for correctness of book. you use Grammarly to write correct, to be able to write so that you don't misspell, you don't misput in adjective. It will just help you. Now Grammarly is can be put inside your browser, can be installed in your browser, or can just be there. You can have it as an app, but you can install it in your browser, your Chrome extension. Now there'll be I'm sure there are various videos on how to use Grammarly, but you can install it in your keypad. You can install it. So I want you to do a little bit of research on how to use Grammarly. So for me, I didn't use anything like Grammarly or Pro Writing Aid. Now you can also use paraphrasing tools like Quillibot. Now for design of your back covers and all, you can use Canva. For writing of your book, you use Google Docs. Google Docs specifically. I'm sorry I did not input it here, but it's Google Docs. We're going to do a practical so that you can see. So there's also AI tools for helping you write, like ChatGPT and probably other AI tools, which we will discuss later in this course. So other tips you need to know is that you need to get ideas around things you often talk about, write or post about. Now, one thing that helped me when I was writing my book is that I like, if I want to write any chapter, I first write a Facebook post or I create an Instagram content on it. It helps me help my mind to actually embody that thought. You understand? Remember I told you need to have passion, embodying the talk and start writing and knowing whether you want to use it for sale. So the next thing you need to do is to get your book down. You need to get your book to tail down. You need to be a particular about a niche. Don't be a versatile person. Don't be a randomness. Don't allow your book to be random. You need to also ask for help if need be. Ensure that the content of your book is relatable. Now, one of the reasons why people will read your book from beginning to end is if it's relatable. If you're just telling abstract stories, especially when you're writing non-fiction books. Non-fiction books are real story books, like real books that like happen, like you're talking about productivity, relationship and all. Try to make it relatable. Ensure your chapters flows into the next. They shouldn't be scattered. Now you also need to work with deadline, like I've emphasized it. When I was writing my book, I started writing on March 27th 2020, and I gave myself a deadline to finish on April 19th. Lo and behold, I finished April 14th. I don't know how it happened, but I think I used 9 days to write my book, and that book was 7 chapters, so I used 1 day to write each chapter. So you can give yourself deadline to help you work well. I was writing a chapter every single day. Now the book it wasn't that big. It was just 59 pages, 56 pages, but it had a lot of power. Now your book can be any page from 50 upward or from 30 upward. It doesn't matter. The game is just be impactful and just make sure it is readable. Now you need to give your book chapters, catchy titles, not too abstract. Now catchy titles are always triggers for people to just keep reading your book. Now the whole process of writing is divided into 3. Now the pre-launch is divided into 3. Yes, the pre-launch, the launch and the post-launch. Now the pre-launch is the ability that when you're setting all your fundamentals, your structures and mind mapping and all. The launch itself is when you intend to launch. How do you want to launch it? Do you want to gather mass audience and just talk to them and launch your book and just tell them to buy? Because before you launch any book, there are different ways to launch book and make money on the internet. In my own way, what I did was I gathered my family members, friends and family, because I did not have any audience. I gathered my friends and family, called them together. Okay, guys, talked about my book in a Zoom meeting and tell them to help me launch it. Some we did 5K, some did 10,000, 50,000, 100. Now that was how I launched my book. Now you need to choose your own way. You need to think of the best way to get your book out there, especially if you don't have any audience. You can also use the system I use. Write the book first, gather your friends and family in a Zoom meeting. Be very, very intentional about it. Now, the way I'm talking about it is very, very slow, but it requires a lot of marketing work. Now, the post launch is when you've already launched your book. You need to still keep blowing your trumpet. You need to be designing stuffs, telling people about your book so that people can read your book. You need to be dropping quotes. You need to be writing about your chapters and all. This is one way to make your book get more desired by people. So the benefit of writing book, it's number one, it makes you an authority in your niche. It immortalizes your value and your name. As long as there's an internet, a book, especially ebook, will always be alive even when the author is no more. It can be monetized and make you so much money. It can pave way for you for public and private speaking engagement. Very, very powerful. I know what my book has done for me. Now, when you write things down, they sometimes take you places you had not planned to go. Now, that is just the truth. There's the power of writing. When you start writing your thoughts down, you'll find out that you many things will start coming, and that is why I advise every one of you should write a book. Write a book on a subject that you're passionate about. You're a tailor, write a book, something relating to what you like, you're passionate about. Because passion is going to be the thing that will drive you aside making money. So thank you so much for in this class. I'm going to teach you in a very short tutorial how to just write your book using these tools I have mentioned so far. Now, practicals on how to write your book. So see you in the next practical class.